What's up guys, Miss Pess here back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and today I have got some exclusive content for you. I have a first look at the Daring Droid Legendary event. EA found it in their hearts to give myself and the other mobile game changers, links in the description below, access to an early access build where we were able to test our squads against the R2 event. Now, my Darth Vader does have a Zeta, but he's only gear 10. I say only. And my Royal Guard is also at gear 10. My Emperor Palpatine is at gear 11, however, I don't have any gear equipped at gear 11, as is my TIE Fighter pilot, is also gear 11, no gear equipped, and my Grand Moff Tarkin is only gear 8, so you don't have to have a completely decked out squad to beat this event. But I did want to show you all 7 tiers of the event in order. Obviously, the first 5 tiers are going to be relatively easy for anyone who is actually aiming to get a 7-star R2. Those of you who only have maybe 2 or 3 7-star Empire and are really just aiming to unlock your R2 at 5 stars, you'll probably want to be paying a little bit of attention to the tier 5 just to make sure that, maybe you know what to expect. Especially if you're in that crowd of players who have, 4 decently geared, maybe gear 5, 6, or 7 Empire characters who are sitting around 5, maybe 6 stars, and you're wondering just how many resources you should sink into your Empire so that you can handily make sure that you get the R2 at least unlocked at 5 stars. Now, one thing that I will mention is that EA CG has done a very, very good job with releasing characters and making those characters actually viable and playable at lower star levels. For example, Darth Nihilus. Darth Nihilus is an extremely viable arena character at 3 stars, which is great. The fact that you can have a 3-star character at gear 11 and be taking first place in arenas is awesome. I gotta give kudos to EA for at least making that a thing. They could have very well made these characters virtually unplayable in arenas, especially until you hit 7 stars, but they haven't done that. So that's really encouraging, and it actually kind of makes you excited to unlock this character. Even if you only unlock R2 at 5 stars, if you take him to gear max, there is a good possibility that he will be arena viable, which is encouraging. And I think it really helps the vast majority of the player base really get encouraged and excited about new characters when they're introduced. So let's talk about the event. Obviously, you're going to fight R2. That's kind of the whole point of the event, is to fight against R2, same as with all the other legendary events, the Palpatine, the Yoda, all of them you had to fight the character that you were going to be unlocking. No big deal, no surprise there. Now, the other aspect of this event was that you're fighting the crew of the Millenium Falcon, and I thought that was a really cool idea. I think this is probably the most iconic crew that R2 was ever a part of. Now, obviously, we're missing a character, and that is C-3PO. So that would lead me to believe that C-3PO may not be in the coding just yet. And, if they're bringing in R2, maybe in the future you might see C-3PO. I don't know. I mean, they've got a character like Lobot, so maybe we might see R2. I don't know. But at any rate, so you're going to be fighting Leia, Old Ben, Luke with his trusty rifle, Farm Boy Luke, as I think the devs like to call him, and Chewbacca. So we're not fighting the Clone Wars Chewbacca, we're fighting regular Chewbacca, but he seems to have the same abilities as Clone Wars Chewbacca, so that, I don't know if maybe they just take the same character and just took the Clone Wars off of him. And then obviously, my favorite, Han Solo. Obviously, Han is going to shoot first, so one of your characters is likely going to get stunned right off the bat. And then if you've been paying attention, R2-D2 will start the match with full turn meter as well. So expect to get burned or stunned, or expect him to put his entire team in stealth. And what I've noticed is that he generally gives the foresight to Han Solo, leaving Han Solo unstealthed. This is kind of, it works out, I think, because Han Solo generally has the lowest health of any of the members of this squad. It would probably be a little bit more of a pain in the butt if he gave the foresight to, say, Chewbacca, who has a much larger health pool. But if you've got TIE Fighter Pilot, just go ahead and throw out your AoE. You'll go ahead and put buff immunity on everybody on the enemy squad, which is going to help once they do finally come out of stealth. They won't be able to go back into stealth, which is nice. Plus, the buff immunity will keep Chewbacca from taunting. That alone is going to save you a lot of headache, because you'll be able to pretty much just pick off the rest of the squad. Now, as stealth starts to drop off of all of the enemies on the enemy squad, obviously for common sense purposes, you don't necessarily want to just take out Old Ben first. Unless you've got buff immunity or shock on everybody on the other team, you're not going to want to take out Old Ben, because obviously taking out Old Ben, he's going to buff the entire enemy squad. So you don't want to be giving R2 every single buff in the game, so save Old Ben for last, unless, like you just saw, you've got buff immunity on everybody else. Then by all means take him out. He's just one less headache. R2 does have a load of health for this event. It is not necessarily an accurate portrayal of his final max gear 7-star health pool, but it is a little bit of a headache, because R2 will just live forever. Most matches, he's probably going to be the last character you kill, so I definitely recommend trying to use some of the crowd control techniques like Ability Block from TIE Fighter Pilot's Omega and the Royal Guard Stun to kind of keep R2 a little bit in check. Now, coming up on the 7th tier of this event, there is one important aspect that you have to be aware of, and that is the fact that R2-D2 and the rest of his squad are immune to turn meter reduction for this 7th tier. So, a Vader Zeta leadership is going to be a lot less effective. I still went with a Vader lead just because I figured this was going to be a long fight, so the dots being able to just stick around forever, I thought was going to be a huge bonus for me. Unfortunately, the fight went a lot faster than I thought it would, and the dots really didn't play that much of a factor. So, in my opinion, for you, my recommendation, if you've got Emperor Palpatine, throw Emperor Palpatine in. Number one, all of these guys are rebels. Well, or Jedi. So, they're going to get the evasion down and the potency reduction from Emperor Palpatine's buff. Not to mention, if your characters aren't the highest gear, Emperor Palpatine is also going to give them a nice health boost, so that is encouraging. Plus the fact that, well, their Empire, they're going to get a lot of turn meter from inflicting negative status effects. That's going to give your TIE Fighter Pilot even more turns to inflict a lot more pain. And then, of course, Darth Vader, every time he force crushes, gonna get full max turn meter, so he can, whip out that culling blade and hopefully take out a character and then get to go a third time. That 1, 2, 3 quick punch when you have Vader rocking underneath Emperor Palpatine. So that is going to be another strategy that will probably work out for you fairly well. Now, if you've been paying attention, you noticed that Tier 5 was level 70, Tier 6 was 75, and here in Tier 7 are level 80 enemies. They are also gear 9 and 10 here in Tier 7, so you're not going to be completely outclassed if you have very well geared Empire at level, high 70s or low 80s. You'll likely be able to clear this event with little to no difficulty. And of course, the main aspect of this game is if at first you don't succeed, try and try again until you fail. And if you keep failing, just throw your phone against the wall. Don't really throw your phone against the wall. I don't recommend that. But, you know, just focus on your characters. You will have several days to accomplish this event. Beat it if you can. Otherwise, it is extremely rare. But as we saw with Palpatine, that probably just means about 3 months before it comes back again. Which is super encouraging for all of you guys who are getting him at 5 stars but just can't quite get him to 6 or 7 stars this time around. A few characters that are going to be pretty easy for you to farm up if you are short 1 or 2 characters for this event are going to be Snowtrooper, who has a Cantina battle, some hard modes, and he's available in guild shipments, so if your luck is on your side, you can get him up to 7 stars fairly quickly. Obviously, Palpatine's event is coming back around, so if you don't have Palpatine at 7 stars, you can get him to 7 stars before the next time this comes around. And then, of course, Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper's available on a couple hard modes and in the Cantina shipments. So those are 3 easy targets. Oh, and Grand Moff Tarkin. 4 easy targets for you to farm. And then, of course, Darth Vader. He's in fleet shipments and in the Shard Shop. And of course, achievements. So good luck to all of you guys. I really hope that you are able to at least unlock R2, because as we've seen in the past, you don't need to be 7 stars to be arena viable. So good luck to all of you out there. As always, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Join my Discord server to continue the conversation. And I will catch you all later.